Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I hope you'll find something you like and will make the decision to like and subscribe. Today we're going to be making these little macrame gnome ornaments. And I had originally made these are rope ornaments. You can find these on my YouTube channel as well and also on my blog at hootshack.com. But this is a little bit different to work with. I'm going to hold it a little closer. You can see the pattern. Okay, so I did find it was hard to see with the dark macrame cord. So I'm using white and I'm hoping you'll be able to see what I'm doing with this one. So all you're going to do is make your loop. Originally I didn't glue this, but then I found if I pulled on the handle here, it would slip out. So I've just started going ahead and using hot glue. So don't do your cord too short. Like you can see this first one I made, it's a little bit short. Like you're barely going to be able to get a tree, get that on like a tree branch. So I'm making them just a little bit longer. And then I'll use just a very small, my glue gun has it's just heating up, so it's got a blob on the end. Just a very small dot. I don't use too much because I want to get it on my fingers. So we'll just glue that in place for a second. Okay, so now you're just gonna push your cord over and make a loop and pinch it. And then now you're gonna go around the back of this loop and right over to the side. So I'm not gonna do a lot of gluing at first. I find I get a little bit on my fingers, but you can take a little dot each time you go by here to help secure it. But just to make this go faster so you can learn the process. So now you're just going to come down and do the same thing with the loop. Pinch it at the top. The trick here is when you go around this time, you want this row to be below the first one because you're making a hat. So you'll go around the back and then underneath this one as well. So now you've created your first section. So now again, you can glue that here. It does help keep it secure. Go ahead and do that. Okay, so we're just going to keep repeating this. Go around, but underneath and underneath this one. So I also wanted to mention that if you pull these too tight, rather than making the shape of the hat, it makes an indentation. So you want to keep it kind of loose because you're forming a triangle. So when you come below this one, again, don't pull it too tight. And as it gets wider, it gets a little bit easier to find a spot to glue it. And then just depending on how big of a hat you want, you can just keep going. I'll do one more and then I'll show you how to make the beard. I'm gonna go ahead and glue that right there because it looks like it's coming loose. The wider it gets, the more kind of loose it starts to get. So I'll leave it about like that. So this is up to you. You can pull it around and tie it off in the back, or you can just glue it. It just depends on how you want it to look. I'm just gonna glue mine. I'll trim this. Okay, so there's our little hat. And then to make a beard, this is the opposite colors, but I have an entire post about how to make a gnome beard with yarn on my blog, and you might want to look at that because you can use a lot of the different techniques. I'm just going to show you the one I used for this gnome here. So you're just going to take 3 to 4 fingers. It just kind of depends on how long you want your beard. I think I'll probably just go with 3 on this one. Don't wrap too tightly, but around 10 times. All right, so then you'll snip it at the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this kind of long because it's gonna end up being part of the beard. So you'll just tie all the loops together. It's a nice tight knot. Okay. Now you're gonna come through it. Oops. Glad those didn't stab me in the foot. Okay, now you're gonna come through and just trim through all the loops. Now I don't do a lot of macrame itself. I just do these little fun things. So I don't have a macrame comb. So all you're gonna do is kind of hold this tight because as you're combing, you can tend to pull your strands through. If you have one that needs a little pulling, you can do that now. But it's best to start at the bottom and just work your way slowly down each cord to separate it. If you start at the top, it just kind of tends to knot. So you just need to comb it out. You can always comb this more if you need to. So what I found was when I glued it this way, I tended to get more of a gap than if I just folded it over like this direction. So let me show you that again. So instead of it going wide, they're going on top of each other. And then if you need to, you can continue to comb it. Okay. And then you can take your hat and you're just going to glue this right here. I would normally do this the opposite and probably make a white beard, but you could really do anything you want. So I just glue it right here. And then there's a bead. This one's a little bit bigger, but you can just add a dot here. Add a little nose. Like that. And then you can just give it a little haircut. Okay, so they end up looking like that. And if you need to, I probably should have made this hat a little bit longer just to cover that, but you can also glue this up a little bit higher so that it hides that. But that's how you make those. And here's the one with the darker hat again. And this one I took a lot more time in combing. The more you comb it out, the looser it gets, and it looks really nice. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check the blog, and in the description box below, I'll link the macrame cord and the noses, and then I'll also leave a link to the blog and a couple other posts I think you might like. Thanks for watching.